Welcome to GabTalks, where we provide tools, tips, and techniques to help your life and business be easier, better, and faster. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Oh my goodness, I am so excited. Welcome to GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. And today I get to bring to you one of my favorite experts, Mr. Jim Packard. Hey, Jim, how are you today?
I am doing great, Gab. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've actually had the opportunity to hear you speak on several stages, and you and I have known each other off and on for several years now. So
Yep.
I am super honored and excited that when I asked, you said yes. So I think our audience would love to hear what it is that you are an expert in and why it is I actually invited you to be one of our guest experts today.
I guess I would say I'm an expert at starting a business with no money and being successful at it.
I would say so. I know that you have part of your story is starting businesses and working with other people and being involved in a number of different things. Will you share with our audience about your background and your origins that got you to where you are today?
Sure. I was one of those kids that had the lemonade stand. I was one of the kids that had a newspaper route, worked all through high school and college. One of the highlights of my career where I put myself through college, going to school nights and working during the day. So I'm very proud of that fact. Started a business with $500, built it to about $17 million and sold it and retired in my 40s.
But when you retired in your 40s, where'd you go from there?
Yeah, yeah. I retired to Arizona. One of our sons came to school out here, so we kept coming to visit him. We go, why don't we live here? I mean, it's so beautiful. Keep in mind, we were living in Maine, and it's very cold in Maine. And so
Yeah.
we moved out here and fell in love with the area. I realized that I didn't play golf well enough that I wanted to play every single day. So I got involved in some other businesses, starting some other businesses. In fact, one of the businesses I got into, I started a greeting card company. And then I got into a network marketing company to seem to be a natural fit. Since then, I've been an inventor. I've invented a couple products. In fact, I invented one product that every single person that's listening has probably used that product. Taken a couple products on QVC, and so quite a few $1 million worth of products on QVC. So I've had a pretty varied business life.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like it. So, one of the things that I ask our guests about is influences. And
Yeah.
I think that you have several different influences. You just mentioned about retiring at 40 and changing careers. But when we were talking before the interview, you mentioned a really pivotal influence when you were younger.
One particular person comes into mind. When I was in high school, I worked at a pizza shop, and I worked for a gentleman for probably 6 or 7 years, all through high school and part of college, because I was, as I told you earlier, I was working days and going to school nights. And I worked for this particular person. I mean, he was a very successful businessman. Back in the early 60s, he had a Mustang, which one of those 65 Mustangs, which I loved. And later on in life, when I decided to start my own business, I went to him first because he owned a big office complex, and he gave me office rent for free, even let me use his secretary. And I always remember saying, why would he do that for me? And he told me for a couple of different reasons, Jim. He said, number one, you're the hardest worker that I ever had working for me. He said, I didn't have to be there if I knew that you were there. And he said, you don't have to make a dollar in every sale. If I can help you out, you can pay it forward later on. And that's what I've done.
Absolutely. And again, you and I have known each other off and on for several years now. So I happen to know one of the things that you do is you pay it forward pretty regularly. So that's awesome. Hello, awesome listener. Thank you so much for joining us today at GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. We're going to take a short break and say thank you to our sponsors. It is through the generous support of these sponsors that we are able to bring to you these amazing experts that are sharing their best tips for your success. So please listen to what our sponsors have to say, and hopefully they're going to inspire you that you're going to click their links and go support them.
It's time to take a vacation from processed foods. The ultimate lifestyle transformation kit will upgrade the way you look, feel, and perform, or will give you your money back, guaranteed. By taking a vacation from processed foods, you will detoxify your organs, cleanse your cells, and remove chemicals from your gut. And once you begin to nourish your cells and balance your hormones, you may notice increased energy, lower stress, deeper sleep, heightened mental clarity, improved digestion, and sexy lean muscle. Any of that sound interesting to you? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You already eat every day, and what you eat really matters. This is your chance to upgrade your food, upgrade your health, and upgrade your life.
Introducing Boost by GoV, a high-end, first-in-class fuel catalyst tablet that is taking the world by storm. How would you like to save money on gas and go further on every single tank? The new MPG is here. Get more miles per gallon, boost power and performance, and reduce emissions and exhaust. What would you say if you could pay less and make fewer trips to the gas pump? It's time to wake up and get on the move. What are you waiting for? Get more out of life and join the GoV experience today. Scan the QR code or check the show notes for more information.
So I want to ask you, and when we were younger, there's always advice that we get that we wish we had listened to and didn't. If you were able to go back to that younger self, is there one piece of advice that you would share?
Yeah, I wished I had been better at keeping in contact with people. I've met a lot of people over my lifetime, even in my business life and during my QVC experience. And I wished I had stayed in better contact with those people. I wished I had built an email list, which would have been invaluable to me now. And those are things I never did.
Yeah. And I think that I absolutely agree. I've heard statistically that the average person can only keep a certain number of people in front of them at any given time. And today we have better ways of keeping track of people and staying connected to them. So I totally agree with you on that sentiment.
Yeah. And it doesn't, there's a lot of different systems out there that will get that done for you. The most important thing is whatever you use, just be consistent in it.
Speaking of, I know that you're actually known for consistency. I want to open up and ask you to share with our audience some of your best tips that they could go put into place right now and take action on.
Well, obviously, I wrote a book, on consistency. We've written a couple of books. I think it's so important. If you look at any particular business, usually 20% of the people give you 80% of the sales. And I always wondered, why is that so? Why is it so difficult for somebody to set a goal and then give up on it? And it usually boils down to not taking consistent action. I'll give you a great example. I heard this the other day. I like this one. If you took a penny and you doubled it every single day for 30 days, at the end of 30 days, you would have like $5.3 million in the bank. But what if you took that same penny and you doubled it every other day for 30 days? How much money would you have in the bank? And the answer to that question is $163. So are you building a $163 business? Or are you building a $5 million business? And that's the power of consistency. So that strikes home. I'm also a firm believer that you have to look, if you can look outside of your industry and look what might be successful in one industry, one technique, one talent, whatever it might be, and apply it to your industry, it could have an effect of an atomic bomb going off. And I've had that philosophy for years and years and years in building my business. And I can give you a couple examples if you want, if you just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that, because part of the foundation and philosophy of these interviews is it doesn't really matter what somebody's an expert in. There's a common thread that runs through all expertise. So definitely give us a few examples.
Well, I'm a big fan of a guy named Jay Abraham, who is considered one of the foremost marketing experts in the world. And I was very fortunate. I got to spend a whole week with him during my business career. And one of the things that he proposes is look outside your industry. And I remember we had a sales contest and we took a bunch of our employees to the Bahamas. We went to a sandals resort.
Mhm.
And a sandals resort is like a Club Med, where you check in, you put your wallet in the safe, and you don't pay for anything. I mean, all the drinks are free, all the food is free, all the activities on the beach are free. And I mean, I love that concept. So I took that concept and we got back home, which is in Maine. We got back home. I came up with a program called Cost Per Copy. I owned a copier company. I sold copiers. I sold the service that goes with it, sold the supplies. We did the financing. And I came up with the concept, why don't I just go to a customer and say, pay me a nickel a copy, I'll give you the machine, I'll give you the service, I'll give you the supplies. And that concept, we refined it over the years, absolutely exploded. So you can imagine if I came into your office and you want to buy a printer, you have to buy the printer. Then you have to buy the cartridges. Then you have to buy the service agreement. And we just combined everything. And I'd say, Gab, why don't you just pay me a nickel a copy? I'll bring the machine in, take care of everything. And that skyrocketed our business. And that was just taking that concept and idea from Sandals Resort and applied it to my copier business.
That is incredible, because I remember the last time I worked for somebody else, one of my job was very much running the office related tasks, and we got a copier and we went through the whole contract and we paid a monthly fee for the copier, and we included in that a monthly fee for the service contract. And through all of that was all of our supplies. We paid for our own paper, but the copier came with it. The supplies were part of it, the whole thing. So, wow, that is amazing that concept that we use every day now originated from the idea of take what somebody else is doing and figure out how to apply it to what you're doing. And
well, remember I told you earlier, I refined it over the years. When we first started, I also gave the client paper, and we drop off cases of paper and realized that paper was going home. So we eliminated the paper. But I'll give you one other example.
Yeah, please.
Do you remember this? Remember eating these as a kid? And what do you find inside? A little toy, right? So when I had sold my company and moved to Arizona, and I was looking for something to do. So I teamed up with another business person, and we started a greeting card company, making greeting cards for salespeople and for pets. But they were very unique cards. And let me show you this. I don't think I've ever shown this to you. This is one of our cards. It just says Babe Ruth struck out more times than he hit home runs. Mm-hmm. Now, most people think a greeting card is a greeting card is a greeting card. But when you open it up, you see the little envelope inside? That's where you pulled out the punchline. It says, Babe Ruth struck out more times than he hit home runs. When you open it up, it says, although we didn't do business this time, you pull out the punchline, we're looking forward to our next at bat. And that was our unique selling proposition. That concept came from the Cracker Jack box. All right, finding a little surprise inside the card. That's why we call it, it's the surprise line of greeting cards. So you can start another whole industry by looking outside the box. I've been a firm believer. I love looking outside the industry, looking what other people are doing, and maybe grabbing a concept from them, applying it to your own business, and whole industries can be born as a result of that.
I cannot tell you how much I love that. One of the things that I consider myself to be very good at doing is taking what everyone else is doing and then putting a unique twist on it. And that's exactly what you just described. Is you took something that was already existing and you thought, oh, how can I utilize this and make a unique twist to solving a problem that people are having? That is just phenomenal. On each episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts, we like to highlight a hero sponsor who is a business that chooses to highlight a do-good organization in their own community that is bettering the world. Today's hero sponsor is...
Hello world, this is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer and I am also a consultant from Z World Webs. Today, I want to highlight the Unity Foundation. The Unity Foundation is a nonprofit organization with a 46-year history of promoting peace, cooperation, and of course, unity throughout the world. For the past 22 years, the Unity Foundation's main focus has been using their media platforms to help humanitarians working for peace, make this world a better place, and promote the United Nations since 1984. To learn more about the Unity Foundation, please visit their website at www.unityfoundation.world. The link can be found in the show notes. So with that being said, my name is Z from Z World Webs, and let's develop a website Z World is waiting for.
So I want to ask you really quickly, if you were to take all of these things that you're talking about and thinking outside the box, and you were to encapsulate it into one overarching tip towards success, what would you say that would be?
Be open-minded. You can learn from anybody. To look what's around you. There's answers everywhere. I call them God winks. They're everywhere around you. They're giving you ideas. It's just, I think Ray Kroc said, the key to success is being at the right place at the right time and doing something about it.
So where can our audience reach out to you and find out more information, how they can work with you, how they can learn from you?
I have a LinkedIn profile, thanks to my son Adam, set it up for me.
Yep.
We have a website called the Consistency Chain, which is my partners and I website. We've written 2 or 3 books at this point.
I have one right here.
There you go. Yep. That's the one that we made specifically just for network marketing. But
this is one of my favorite books. And I told you before we started interviewing, I happen to really like chapter 9, Momentum versus Motivation. And I actually recorded a video that's on the YouTube channel way back when I started the YouTube channel. And I actually this book was really critical in helping me launch GabTalks. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
Well, that just made my day. Thank you very much. The book is a short read. It's 115 pages long. It's a funny read because I can imagine my partner's a comedian.
Yeah.
And we actually, it's on Amazon, you can get it on Audible or buy the book there. But anyway, if somebody wants to get a hold of me, usually probably through LinkedIn is the best way.
What is the website again?
theconsistencychain.com.
Right. So we will make sure the link for that is down below, and we'll also make sure the link for your LinkedIn is in the show notes and in the description as well. So yeah, when I started GabTalks, I had been talking to a friend of mine. I had heard you speak about this book with George and the concept of the 80-20. I'm a lot like George. I do a lot of things and then I kind of fall back, and I start and I fall back. And so when I was reading this book, one of the concepts that I hold to today is day 1, day 2, day 3, and then just keep doing day 3. And as long as you keep doing day 3 and you keep momentum going, eventually you're just doing it.
Yeah, it's a book about a strategy for people that have a hard time reaching goals. Yeah. It's really geared towards the 80%ers. And if you're a 20%er, you're saying, well, why should I buy it? And the reason you should buy it, because most of the people that work for you are 80%ers. And this is a way to really get to know and understand what motivates them. I think we just got named Book of the Month in the UK. So we're very proud of that.
Yeah.
I like to call it's probably the best kept secret in America. So we're looking forward to people reading it and giving us their feedback.
And one of the things it talks about also in the book that I found really important is the majority of the 80%ers really genuinely have the desire. They just need to create the habit and exercise that muscle once they create the habit. And so getting into the momentum of consistency, if you can utilize the strategy that's in the book, makes such a huge difference. And I personally use the strategy in the book. Awesome. I've done so in 3 or 4 different things that really helped me move this whole entire project of GabTalks forward. So I thank you. And I'm so honored and grateful that you were willing to be an interviewee for us today. And you guys, I will make sure that a link to this book is in the show notes and in the description. And you can find Jim on LinkedIn and go check out the website. I promise you, you will not regret it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the reminders so that you can find out when our next episode is being published. And we will see you next time. Hey, thanks so much for watching. We hope you got value today. We want to give a huge shout out of gratitude to our contributors. Please make sure you click the subscribe button below and don't forget to click the bell up above to get reminders when we add new content.